Hello and welcome to everyone. Today our guest is Jimmy Flick. Well, congrats on inking the contract. Thank you for joining. Can you please say a few words about yourself?
My name's Jimmy Flick. I'm from Sand Springs, Oklahoma, born and raised. 15-5 as a professional MMA fighter, and I'll be making my UFC debut on December 5th.
Well, that's really, really great news. And you probably trained for a very long time. When did you start to train in MMA?
I started training at the age of 17. 30 years old now, so been at it for 13 years now. I even fought as an amateur, went 7-0 as an amateur before turning pro in Bellator 20.
Do you have how to say? Do you have the fundamental martial art or your pure MMA?
I've done it all. I've trained it all. I started with wrestling, then I transitioned into jiu-jitsu, and then now I work a lot of my Muay Thai, and that's how I got my nickname, The Brick. It's because my game's solid all over.
That's a very entertaining nickname. I've never heard the nickname Brick. That's a very, very original nickname.
Yes, sir. And I got somebody trying to take it, but we made it to the UFC before him, so hopefully it sticks with me.
Well, if you reach the UFC first, should stick with you. But I mean, did fans give you the nickname or you chose it?
I had some friends. We were just messing around when I started fighting as an amateur, and we started throwing out nicknames, and then the Brick just stuck with me.
Interesting. How would you describe your fighting style? Are you all-rounder or?
Yeah, I like to go straight forward. I like to get the action going, and I like to finish the fights quick as possible. As an amateur, I had 7 fights, 6 of them in the first round, 3 of them in 30 seconds, and they're all by submission. I had one that went to the second round, and I submitted him as well. And as a professional, I got 15 wins with 13 of them by submission. And I feel I'm a well-rounded fighter, but I dominate on the ground with my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu. But I've been working on my stand-up for quite a few years over at Forza Combat Sports, and we're looking to showcase it in this fight.
Who's coaching you now, and who are your sparring mates?
Leo Perucci is my striking coach from Forza Combat Sports, and I have a lot of training partners. Micah Stockton, he's a pro MMA fighter. He's one of my biggest training partners. He fights professionally at 125 as well. He'll be coming over and getting some work with me in tonight as well, my MMA rounds. I have wrestling coach Jared Patterson, who wrestled for OU here in Oklahoma. He was a Big 12 champion. And Cody Carstetter, he wrestles for a local college here in Oklahoma and been wrestling his whole life as well. And I got some jiu-jitsu coaches that I bounce around with, from Hector Munoz to Matt Vernon. And I jump around from Oklahoma and get all the training I need and put it all together and go out there and showcase all my skills.
What can you say about your first amateur fight? Did you afraid heading into it, or it was just ordinary routine?
My first amateur fight was actually at a bar. It was standing room only, and everybody was smoking cigarettes when I made my walk. I came out, I threw a head kick. Me and the guy fell down, and I armbarred him in 31 seconds. So it happened kind of quick. And then I even fought 3 weeks later and ended up choking another guy 3 weeks later. I had 7 fights within 6 months. So my amateur career went pretty fast. And it was all amazing experience. It got better to better shows. But, yeah, I started out in a bar that was standing room only.
Wow, interesting story, pretty much. But you were very dominant. And how did your first professional fight go?
My first professional fight was my first decision. I was brought in to lose in Bellator 20 to 6-2 Humberto De Leon. He was 6-2 as a professional, and he was 11-1 as an amateur. And they brought me in to make my pro debut, and they thought since I had some jiu-jitsu experience that he was just going to be able to submit me. I dominated him by unanimous decision, I even went on to fight him again for the IXFA 125 title. And out of my 15 wins, he's the only opponent I've never finished. But I dominated him in all 8 rounds because we fought 5 rounds in a title fight and we fought 3 rounds for Bellator 20.
You had a lot of fights, really. Can we now get back to the early stages of your career? Your first 5 fights. Which fight was the toughest and why?
Um, that's a tough one because my first 5 fights were pretty quick. I think most of them were all in the first round. My toughest fight would have been my first loss at 6-0. I took on UFC vet Will Campazano. Will Campazano was a tough Muay Thai fighter, had good takedown defense, and I fought him for the LFC, the Legacy Fighting Championship, before they merged with RFA and became LFA. I fought him for the 125 title, and it was my first loss, and it was the first time getting knocked out. I got knocked out about 20 seconds into round 2 after dominating round 1. I was just trying to wrestle too much, got caught with a big O knee, and by the time I recovered, they stopped the fight. And that was probably my toughest fight, and really let me know what I needed to work on to pursue this career.
Can you describe? You have one form full choke win in your career, right?
Say it again.
You have one victory via form full choke, right?
Oh no, honestly, I have like 4.
4.
Uh, yeah, and I call it the Von Flick choke. I choked out Randy Villarreal with the Von Flick choke. I choked out uh, what's his name, Sean O'Grady. I choked out Jameson Saudito, and there's a 4th one in there as well. But when they put it on the rankings and the stuff, nobody really knows what a Von Flu choke is. So it says that I have more head and arm chokes than I actually do. So I have 4 Von Flu chokes as a professional.
As a professional, that was my next question about form full choke and about the choke you just mentioned. I wanted to ask you to say to the fans what's the difference because many people that follow me mix those two. You know, they mix apples and oranges, if you know what I mean.
Yes. With the head and arm choke, usually you have the arm up around the head, and we get on the side and we choke them out uh, by getting off to the side and taking the angle. With the Von Flu choke, it's when somebody grabs your neck and they're trying to choke you with the guillotine. I put my arms over their head and I use my shoulder, and it's actually all shoulder pressure that causes the Von Flu choke. And that's how you come up with the Von Flu.
What do you think? Why people mix apples and oranges? I mean, I trained BJJ. I know the difference between those two, but many people mix apples and oranges with these two.
Yeah, well, with that one, it's a lot different. I guess a lot of people don't pay attention to them grabbing the guillotine and not grabbing the guillotine. It's like with the Darce choke and the um, anaconda choke. They're about the same, but they're from different angles. And if you don't train in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's a lot easier, I think, to get them mixed up. And it happens all the time. Even after my fights, they'll ask me, "Well, what'd you win with?" And I'll have to tell them it's the Von Flu choke, and they announce it as the head and arm most of the time.
Well, for example, Anaconda and the arch choke, in the first phase, it's kind of hard to see, but when he starts rolling, you know what's the choke, right?
Yes, sir.
But when you catch, it's kind of very hard to see in the initial, because when he catches, to me at least, I see when the guy starts rolling.
Exactly. And with all my jujitsu, man, I love choking people. I love tapping people out. And I've got arm bars. I've got triangles. Um, I feel like I've done it just about all. Even as an amateur, I mixed it up. I've had a flying triangle win, a flying armbar win as an amateur. And I love jujitsu, and it goes really well with my wrestling.
Which is your favorite submission? Do you have one?
The Von Flick for sure, and I like to call it the Von Flick because I got 4 of them. I'm trying to put my name on it and give it its own little thing, and I can actually hit the Von Flick from bottom. I haven't put it out there yet, unfortunately, because I haven't hit it in the fight. But y'all will see it one day, and I can hit it from off my back.
I actually heard that this is tactically possible. Actually, my coach was showing me that too. So technically, it's possible, but it's very hard.
Very, very hard. But if you get the right angle and everything from your back and they grab that guillotine, you can get the bomb flu from bottom.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. How did you defeat Tavares Collins?
Head and arm choke.
I had an arm or foam flu.
It was actually a head and arm. Yeah, he didn't grab the guillotine on that one. We hit off the side, and that was my first fight and only fight at 145 pounds. I took it on 24-hour notice, and me and him both took it on 24-hour notice. We both made weight at 145, and I choked him out in, I think it was 54 seconds.
What can you say about Johnny Bedford as an opponent?
As an opponent, he was a tough opponent. It was a tough fight, but he has no respect for his opponents. And that's one thing I dislike about Johnny Bedford now. As you can see over in Bare Knuckle, he's very disrespectful to the guys as well. He stands over the top of them, throws his hands up. I could have done that to him, after I put him to sleep, and I didn't. And but as for him, he's a great fighter, man. He had a lot of fights. I was a 5-1 underdog in that fight, man, and it was an awesome feeling to go out there and put him to sleep.
When people see a BJJ fighter, when they meet a BJJ fighter in the octagon, what is the first thing people usually think? You understand the question, do you?
Oh yeah, that they think I don't have no stand up. They don't think that I know what I'm doing on my feet, and usually that's their game plan. They're thinking to just stay off the ground and stay away from chokes. Like Damian Maya, he's more one dimensional than most fighters, or like me, for example. I feel like I have good stand up, I have good wrestling, and I have good jiu-jitsu. And I'm not a one-dimensional fighter, but my stats show that it looks like I'm a one-dimensional fighter. So I think people think if they can just keep the fight standing, they have a chance. But if you watch my Tuesday night contender fight, I did really good on the stand-up. I mixed in the wrestling, and I fought a junior Olympic wrestler. So he had good takedown defense. He even had good submission defense. But we stayed after him, and we got the finish in the third round.
Excellent, excellent. So when we discussed that fight, I also interviewed the guy who fought you at Contender Series, and I can say that he has very, very good skills when it comes to takedown defense, offense. Very, very good skills.
Yes, and he trains at a very good gym at a Team Elevation in Colorado. So I was excited for that fight. We fought him from Team Elevation for the LFA title. I fought a guy out of Greg Jackson's. Earlier this year, I fought a guy out of Michigan Top Team. And now we're getting ready for Cody Durden, who trains he's out of Coconut Creek, Florida right now, training over there at American Top Team in Coconut Creek, Florida, training with some top-level guys. So I'm excited to go out there and showcase all my skills and get another win.
Do you have the most painful loss?
Say that again?
Do you have the most painful loss in your career? Which loss was the most painful? Which loss irritated you the most?
Oh, the Ray Rodriguez, man. Well, Ray Rodriguez, he actually was the first person that ever knocked me out, like cold. And he caught me with an elbow in the side of the head. As I dropped, he followed up with punches. But the one that hurt me the most would be the Chris Gutierrez. Chris Gutierrez kicked my calf so many times that I ended up dropping, and I wasn't able to walk for about 4 days. I was on crutches from calf kicks. He's currently 3-1-1 in the UFC, and even has a win in the UFC by leg kicks. So, but that was at 135. At 125 is where I'm more dominant. Same thing with Ray Rodriguez. That was at 135. At 125 is where I belong and where I'm going to stay.
On the scale from 1 to 10, how painful are calf kicks?
That one was it was a 10 for sure, man. I woke up the next day to go stand up, and I could not walk. My wife had to go get me some crutches. We had to make sure nothing was broke. Came back, nothing was broke, but it hurt so bad. The knockout, it sucked watching it on TV. But as for the pain level, it wasn't bad. I was good to go. Everything was good. But calf kicks, they suck.
So you're meeting now Cody Durden. Cody Durden is, well, people will probably put you as an underdog. I don't know why. They always put new fighters as underdogs. And honestly, I don't know why. There are many good new fighters. So what do you think about that? Is it hard to fight as an underdog?
Oh no, I mean it doesn't matter to me. I've been both. I've been the favorite. I've been even. I like being a big underdog though. I feel like it don't put no pressure on you. Somebody did drop some odds already, and they actually did have me as the favorite for the first time in a while. Uh, but I don't pay attention to the odds. I don't bet on myself either. I let other people do all the betting. That's all up to them. But every fight, I go into the fight with the same attitude, and that's to go out there, put on a show, and get the finish. I do not like going to the scorecards. I have one decision on my record where I dominated the guy in his hometown, and I lost by unanimous decision. I took him down every round. I almost choked him out. I had his back every round, and I lost by unanimous decision. Ever since that loss, I've never been to the scorecards, and I do everything in my power to finish.
Yeah, that would be great. So this fight is probably gonna be great, knowing that both of you will try to finish. People like watching those fights.
Yes, sir. And Cody comes forward. I come forward. We both go back and forth on social media with each other. And I'm excited. I can't wait. We're 12 days out now from fight night. I head out to Vegas next week, and I'm excited. I got a couple more days of hard training, and everything's done, and we're ready to go.
You don't cut much weight, or
Oh, I do. I do. Not the 35, but the 125 I do. Right now, weight's on point. It's right where we need to be. We're still, we'll have a little to cut, but that's what determines us fighters, man. I'm very mentally tough, and I've never missed weight. And hopefully Cody comes in on weight. His last couple fights have been at 135, so I'm curious to see how he does with the cut to 125.
yeah, gonna be fun for sure. Would you like to add something, maybe to greet someone? Would you like to say something we didn't say in this interview?
Yeah, if y'all would like to follow me on Instagram, the Brick MMA, or on Facebook at Jimmy the Brick Flick, follow my fan page. I really appreciate all the support. I'm always doing giveaways on my fan page on Instagram, trying to get my name out there, and I appreciate all the support I can get. And I appreciate you having me on, giving me this interview.
Thank you so much for this. I will start creating video. Hopefully, it will be posted today. If not, then tomorrow. Thank you so much for accepting the interview.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it, and you have a good day.